Can be a pain at times and very unsafe. That was until Joe found Maximo, the rideshare app that automates Uber and Lyft ride requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and passenger rating, to determine which rides are best suited for Joe. When a ride request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will automatically accept the ride request that matches his filters, and then turn off the app that isn't currently on a ride. Once Joe finishes the ride, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to focus more on his passengers and driving safe.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Lisa? What's up, Phil? What's up, Kathy? What's up, Bud Soda? And what's up, Kim? I want to thank Kim for coming on tonight. And yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is the only other time you and I did something, we couldn't see each other. So that was kind of funny. I always find that show kind of funny because we haven't had a lot of people on it, but it's crazy that I don't know. So sometimes I think you notice too that if any of you didn't hear it, you can go to tncradio.live, and in the podcast you can find Driver Nation, and then it's like the second episode of this year. It's labeled weird, but I'll try and put it up in the comments of this after. But Kim was on the show, and it just kind of rolls from from break to the show, and we don't hear the commercials or the music. So sometimes I don't even know if we're on or we're off or what. So it's, we'd be like, he'd say we're going to break. I'm like, I thought we were on break. It's kind of funny. But yeah, Kim, so you're doing good. You're working away. You're still putting out your videos every day. You're doing stuff with UDM. You're doing your Tuesday Night Live. What else do you do on a pattern basis? Because I think you work like me. You work like you have everything planned out, like when you do your what. And
yeah, I always feel like my week is jam-packed. But yeah, Tuesdays is my live, and then Wednesdays I'm now with UDM at 3:00 for the Brad of the Day, and then whatever else I kind of fit in between. But in between there, just going out and working every single day, and I video it every single day, and I come home, I edit, I go to bed 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and start my day all over again. So that's kind of my process. But yeah, I always believe that, family comes first. That's my first priority. And then kind of everything else falls in between. And sometimes I kind of piece together my week.
Right. Yeah, speaking of that, so you're doing all this, and sometimes like I'll be doing like a live stream later in the night. Did you always work so late? Because I've noticed you coming into live stream and saying I'm still working.
Yeah, it's kind of the way that I fit my family life into work. I work up until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon when like the lunch rush ends. And then I come home and I spend time with my daughter and my husband. I cook dinner, we have family dinner time. And then I go back out because, at some point, like she goes to bed at like 7:30. So, I'm not missing too much of being with her. And then I work through the night just to, get my hours in for the day. And usually I'm out by like 9, 10 o'clock, somewhere around there. So yeah, I'm usually catching people's live streams as I'm working. So I'm usually in and out a lot.
Yeah, I'm just I guess I always thought that you worked in the morning and the afternoon in the beginning when I started watching your stuff. I didn't think you worked evenings. And
yeah,
that's always been the case? You always work at night too?
Yep, always been the case. It's a very rare occasion, unless I have like something personally going on, that I'll do like a day shift. But most likely it's morning, afternoon. I break and then I go back out at night and kind of start the process all over again.
So when is your you time?
Is there such a thing? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if you do have such a thing. I don't know.
I do take one day off a week. It's usually like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Usually Tuesdays, because I do the live stream on Tuesdays, and so I spend it with my family during the day. and then, I go right into live streaming at night. So usually Tuesdays. I've been playing back and forth with Wednesdays just because it's a dead time in my market right now. So just kind of depends on what's going on personally and work wise and what's the best decision for the week.
And how's your new sponsor, Dr. Pepper, going?
I'm still working on it, but sorry, I do have it tonight. So I'm ready to go. Caffeine's good. So if anybody knows of like a Dr. Pepper sponsor out there, just bring them my way. I'm the
that would be Pepsi. That would be a big account. So yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. So anybody send them that way. But so I don't know what's going on lately. What's some of the news, or what's the app that you're working the most now? I know you do all the deliveries, but like which one's going best? Because I mean, these days I talk to people who have been dedicated to this or that, or at least 60% of their time went to DoorDash. Let's say, and the other 40% when they were working went to Grubhub or Uber Eats.
Right now in my market, it's a DoorDash market, and I always find it really interesting because they're always continually changing. In like a couple months ago during the summertime, like Uber Eats was was my app in my area, and it was pumping and it was producing, and something like completely changed with Uber Eats, and then all of a sudden DoorDash kicked in, and now like my market is a DoorDash market. And that's probably, I'm going to say, like 60% of what like my earnings during the week is DoorDash, and then kind of Uber Eats is second, fell to second, and then Grubhub I treat like my third app just because it's Grubhub. I don't know how else to say. It's freaking Grubhub.
I know.
I have a love-hate relationship with Grubhub, but it's the wait times. There's not a lot of orders coming in all the time, so I treat it as though, okay, well, DoorDash and Uber Eats isn't producing, so let's bring in Grubhub. Maybe they'll give me an order at some point.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think there was a time, at least for most people I know, and maybe it was even before the pandemic, that Grubhub was the one you wanted. Just the way they were slow onboarding, the way they kept you in a zone or whatever they were doing back then. Again, I was doing Rideshare at the time when it came around, but I know that was like the wanted one, but you'd be put on a wait list.
Don't even get me started on a wait list. I was on a wait list I started pre-pandemic with Grubhub with a wait list. It took me a year and a half to actually get onto Grubhub, and I just got onto Grubhub like 6-ish months ago. So, and everybody's like, you need to get on Grubhub. You need to get on Grubhub. So I was like, I'm like, yes, I got into Grubhub. And now I'm just like, oh, it's Grubhub.
That's what happened in November. I can't remember who it was. It was like, I think it was Ellen, and then it was somebody else who were telling me, well, you should get onto Grubhub because you'll never get on. I mean, it's going to take you a long time. Just sign up. You're signed up for all the apps, sign up. And I was like, all right, we'll see about this, because I've been hearing it from everybody. So I signed up for Grubhub, and I was accepted the next morning.
Nice. I wish.
I mean, literally under 12 hours. And it's like I had just checkered on to shipped. So shipped about a week ago, I'd run my checker background. The only thing I could think of was that literally checker got so lazy that they said, whatever, he was checked a week ago, just it's fine.
Wow. Good. Well,
because I mean, I only know from working with the companies like Para and all that in the past that I know how that they charge, what they charge, especially in bulk rates, and it's $27 a check per person if you're doing bulk rates.
Wow.
So it's, I guess what I've always thought is like, what are you going to learn about somebody for $27?
Yeah.
I don't even think you can have a background check for $27. That's just somebody doing the most basic check. Like, are you wanted? As long as you're not wanted, like you're going to pass.
America's Most Wanted list? No, you're
right.
good.
Unless you are, you're going to be fine. So, I just wanted to say hi to a couple other people that bounced in. Hi, Marissa. Hi, Tommy. Hi, Mort. Hi, Omer. Hi, Drone. And Tony, Driven Dad. This has been kind of a long day for me because I had the premiere of the other video too that was like super deep video about
Yeah, sorry, I was working. I'll catch the replay after like we're done tonight. That's what I do.
it's
Like a lot of times I'll go home and like editing and everything. Like my unwind time is catching up on a lot of lives that have happened and whatever videos people release. I feel like kind of I hate to say YouTube is what's going on and what I do, but at the same time it's like my relaxation time too because I'm like okay I can watch people now.
yeah, that's kind of what I do too. Cause I mean, it's like, what else am I going to do? Even when I am like, all right, I'm just going to relax for a little bit and still do something. I'm not going to watch TV because we've been in a pandemic for 2 years. So I hate TV. I mean, like it'll be on, but I'm not even paying attention. So it's like YouTube
Yeah.
is like new content.
Yeah,
And
at
it's
least you
people
get
I
something
know.
new. Yeah, I feel like you get something new like every single day, and everybody has like a different angle or a different way. And yeah, like I feel like it's a really good way if you want to learn how to tie your shoe. You just go on YouTube and say, "How do I tie my shoe?" Like there's so many different videos out there that you can learn so much from
Oh yeah.
that it never bores you. But I will say, I watched TV for like the first time in like months the other day just because there was a series that I really wanted to watch. I'm like, ooh, that sounds interesting, and I got binge watching, and it kind of all went from
I
there.
think that's how we all watch now, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah,
That's how I watch everything on Netflix. If I do see something, I'm like, I'll watch this. And if
yeah,
I hate it, I'm off in like 5 minutes. And if I love it, I'll sit there and watch them all.
yeah. I got into on Amazon Prime the new Reacher series just because I love the movie
Okay.
Jack Reacher. So I'm like, once I started it, it was good. I just like couldn't stop it, and I just kept going.
That's good to know. I haven't seen a good Prime show in a while. In fact, I can't even remember one that I've seen. I can't.
Oh, go check it out. It's like action packed
I
and
remember the movie's Reacher,
yeah,
and I saw it
yeah.
on Prime. I didn't see he was playing the Tom Cruise role, but
Yeah, a big, huge guy. Does not even
yeah,
come close to the size of Tom Cruise.
right. Hey Pedro, what's up? So yeah, I don't know. So you and I talked about this a little bit on the radio show, but I am curious to know earnings. Are your earnings way off right now? Are they like compared to Thanksgiving to December? Any given day in that period to any given day now, are you for the same
I
amount of
think
hours? Are you pretty close? Are you on it?
I think we've all seen a slowdown of some sort, including me in my area. I will say this: I don't think I think the orders are still coming in with quantity, not quality. I think people are not ordering as much as they were, especially during like pandemic times. I feel like people's mindsets, the economy's changing, people's mindsets are changing, they're ordering differently, and that's translating into money they're spending and also money that's coming into our pocket. So, I think we talked about this on your show. I simplified my process that I'm just taking orders at this point. I'm taking orders that, make sense to my market, and I'm literally just taking orders because I figured out, you kind of have to readjust a little bit. And that's what I've been doing to still stay on track with where I personally need to be.
But is that meaning more hours or less money?
In some cases, it's more hours, maybe an hour here or there, just to kind of compensate with still, I still go myself just like, I always used to. So I'm so competitive with my own self that, I'm here to go out, and I'm here to do what I can while I'm out. And I do the best I can every single day that I'm out there. So if it means working more hours, then I'll do it just to, still get to where I need to be.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta ask the name Kim's. I don't think I even asked you this on the radio show. So the name Kim's side money plans, isn't it Kim's life money plans? Or I don't even know. I don't know how I would describe. Is it side money? It's your money, right? It's how you live.
Yeah, it should be at this point. So when I first started, I actually was doing this part time. I was doing DoorDash. That's how it started. It started off with just DoorDash for part time, and I had a W-2 at the time, and I just started DoorDashing part time, and that's how Kim's Side Money Plans came into effect. And then it kind of evolved. And, last year I went, well, that's actually over a year now. It's probably a year and a half now. I went full time and started doing multi-apping, and it kind of kept going. But I kept it Side Money Plans because, this just isn't my only, stream of revenue coming in. I have a Robinhood account. I have YouTube coming in. I have different side hustles that I do on the side too. So, that's kind of why I kept the name, because it's still continuing on, even though I'm doing food delivery full time.
Yeah, so that's another thing too. I was going to ask you. So now that you're doing these daily videos, now that you're doing your other videos, how much editing time and all that's going into this? Because people don't recognize that as unpaid time. And you and I know that it is. That's not paid time. That's just creative time.
I've gotten
Hi, Hannibal.
down,
Hi, Daphne.
I've gotten down to editing about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours a night. So usually that's why I've been trying to cut myself off at 9 o'clock at night, because I come home, I spend a little family time together, and then I start the editing process. And the quicker I edit, the quicker I go to bed. So that's my incentive. Kim, get it done so I can go to bed. And sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're not easy. And I feel like the more layers you put onto a video, which is what a lot of people want to see, the more tedious and the more time consuming it is. And that's where kind of the unpaid time comes in. And hopefully, your end product, people like. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the thing with YouTube, which I find really interesting, is every time I think, I'm like, oh, I nailed this video, I think it's fantastic, yeah, it doesn't translate. And like other times where you're like, oh, this is like it's gonna be like the worst video ever, it's like your number one video, and you're like, what the heck just happened? And it's a weird process, but it's fun at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. And that's, I mean, if you didn't do all this or love this, you wouldn't be doing working all day and then editing by night. And I know there's some monetary value to that too, and brand building that you're doing. However, I know that every night you wouldn't come home and go, all right, time to edit. I've only been working for 12 hours and cooking dinner and all this, that, and the other. Now I'm ready to edit till 2 in the morning.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. But yeah, I really do love that process. I'm a very creative person to begin with, so it kind of translates into the editing process, but it's something I really enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I think that I don't know how I could do the editing part, but again, I don't think I would need to, because I work more on like getting the guests together for pieces for the audio podcast like that I did today, which Bud Soda, thank you for the good comment. I was pretty proud of that piece today, because it's if anybody in here wants to be an independent contractor, you have to watch that piece that we did today, because I had an all-star lineup of all the people who know the most in this country about it. So
That's awesome. I'm gonna
pretty,
have to check it out after we're done tonight.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited
I
to
mean,
watch
it's everybody should watch it, unless you want to be an employee of one of these companies. You should watch it, because there's a lot of horror stories out there, and there's a lot of good people defending us that a lot of you don't know about. So, and they all come out in that, and they're all in the show notes. But yeah, I don't know. So you're building your brand. You're
Trying.
well, you are. I mean, like I was saying on the radio show, you've built a good brand in like a decent amount of time, but you work for it. It's like you're not taking 2 weeks off because you're sick of making daily videos. You're not doing this, or that. You're keeping that. I don't want to say algorithm, because that word gets thrown around too loosely, but you're keeping that weekly. Here's my Tuesday. Here's my daily. Here's this. You seem to be on time with everything that you drop. And that definitely weighs to your favor.
Well, thank you. It's you. I honestly, when I went into YouTube, I really knew nothing about what I was doing, and I'll be humble enough to say that. I went into it with like, okay, I'll just show people what I'm doing, and I'll just make videos. And there's just so much that goes on with the analytics, which I had no idea what it was about. I didn't even know about monetization, I don't think, until like 5 or 800 that I was at, and I'm like, I can do what? Like I feel like I'm learning as I'm going, and it was probably the wrong way to start the YouTube altogether, but it was my way. So it's kind of my journey, and everybody sees my journey every single day, and that's what it's built into at this point. And it's always evolving, and I think, or at least trying to evolve. I'm always trying to do something different, trying to really evolve into my own brand, as you say. I don't even think of it as my brand. I just think of, like, oh, take everybody along with me every day that I work. So, but eventually, that's kind of the process, is I just want to keep evolving and keep going.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I do the same thing, and it really helped me big time to stick with the time and the day of the drop of my podcast. Like every week on Tuesday morning at 7 a.m., my podcast drops across all the platforms. And it really helped me, because people get upset even if you're like a day late or whatever, and it doesn't get into their podcatcher or their feed.
Yeah.
They get a little upset. They get like, where is this? I like driving to this on Tuesday morning. What's up? And then they might miss it, and then they come back to it later, but it can throw everything off. And they're not like ever mad because they're getting it for free, but it's like, like a disappointment. And there's a lot of people who just randomly drop stuff. And then there's people who are on time with it. And I think that's a big thing that people really like. I mean, how long have you been on YouTube doing creation?
A little over a year now, maybe a year and a half, maybe.
See, and you've already built, how many followers do you have? 5,000? What do you got?
Honestly, I don't even know. I think you know what, I'm not even gonna say.
Somebody in chat put in how many followers Kim is.
I don't even know. I'll be honest. Like, I just go, and I just keep on going. Yeah, I look at the analytics of, like, my videos. What do people like? Are they watching it all the way through? What do I need to change? What do I need to tweak? So I look at that analytics. I don't really get involved with subscriber counts, views. Yes, sometimes views, just, because, you want to see whether it's going in the right direction. But other than that, it's just a process. It's a process. But I just give you every day. So whatever happens, happens.
So Bud Soda says you're just under 28.
Oh, there you go.
See, that's pretty good for a year.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
What? No, I mean, well, okay. Now you're gonna crush my feelings. Although I don't put out as much content as you do, but, or even close. I mean, it was just recently that I brought the podcast over to here, but I'm pretty surprised that a lot of people sit through all my, like, when I go and do those same analytics, because a lot of your videos your Tuesdays are longer, but I mean, a lot of your videos are 13, 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah,
like you have all different spectrums.
I think I've tried over the year, whatever I've been on YouTube, different time slots, and I've even done community posts and seeing what people actually like. According to the community posts, they like 10 to like 15 minutes the most. But there are some days that a lot happens, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm giving you more content today, and we kind of go from there, because I just whatever happens. But I'm just trying to be Cam. I'm just trying to be Cam. I'm not trying to be like anybody.
And that's what I like. That's what I like about you, and that's what I was saying on the when we had you on the radio show, is that I really like that you're just Kim. That you do. I like how you come out and you do your piece on Tuesday night, and you'll talk a little bit. You let everybody get in the room, kind of get settled, say hi to everybody, how that goes, in the chat, and then you're talking about something. And then you move to the chat. And because I've been trying to find a way, I'm getting a little better about how to watch chat at the same time, because I'm just not as good as some of you YouTubers at this. But I'm used to a podcast mic. I'm alone, or I've got somebody on. I'm looking at a wall usually, or I'm looking at different things I'm talking about.
So believe me, when this is so far outside of like my comfort zone, which I think is why I push myself to do more lives, and it's beyond my comfort zone. And it's just, to me, it was like practice, keep practicing and keep practicing. And you'll get better. And that's kind of why I started doing lives, because I'm like, okay, how do I keep pushing myself every single day to be like a better version? So this is, like I said, lives are so far outside my comfort zone, but I really want to connect with my community and really give back, because if they take time to watch, then you know what, I love building that community
Right.
with the YouTube community.
So Roy asked a question. I had to go scroll back for it because he's like, ask my question. Of course, Roy. No problem. Let me do that now. So he says, as a female, what security measures do you take when delivering?
There is, there's just kind of basic stuff that you need to be smart. Just be smart. That's what I'm gonna say. Be smart while you're out there. Take precautions.
But I mean, like, you know your area. So and over this time, you've gotten to know probably 90% of the restaurants that you frequent.
Yeah.
So like how they're lit, where you're coming in, where it is to park, so that you're not in some alley. You're not having to be sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, you need to know. First of all, you need to know your areas. But one of the things that I have been thinking about doing lately is, and I started doing this, and hopefully it's gonna, come about, and you guys are gonna get like a little sneak peek. But I've been in contact with like my local police department, because I really want to get them, if they agree to it. That's my thing. I want them to agree to it, to be on one of like my not lives, but like one of my videos, that ask them questions, like even from like a female perspective. What can you do to be safe? What can we do as drivers? What do they see happening out there that actually can help us be better drivers at night? So I'm actually working on that, because I'm not a pro when it comes to that. They're like, the cops are the pros, right? They see things that we don't actually see. But I personally take my own precautions when I'm working, so that way I personally stay safe at night.
Right. I mean, do you have mace on you?
Yes.
But you do have mace on you. Okay. So I mean,
Yes.
like, that's a precaution. There's one.
It's a precaution. I mean, I take my keys with me whenever, keys are a form of a weapon, but I take my keys, and no one can take my car if the keys are on me. Keep your lights on. Like, there's just things, be vigilant, keep your eyes open at all times, know your surroundings, don't take any delivery that you're not comfortable doing. And, I think with what the apps are doing these days, and, whatever they're doing, who knows what they're doing at this point, but don't be forced to take anything that you're not willing or comfortable taking. And the minute that you feel that you're unsafe, get rid of it and hightail it out of there, or call support, do whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe.
I agree. And, I often question if people, I don't ever doubt them. If somebody carries a weapon, they carry a weapon. You're not supposed to, but we all do things outside of the TOS. However, that's not my style. However, I do have mace in the car, and I always used to during ride shares, and I had it in a way where I could get it. But if I was going to spray it, it was going to be like holding it out in front of me and getting myself probably too, because I was just going to spray it everywhere into the car. I mean, what am I going to do with rideshare? It's what it is.
Rideshare is.
So it's almost like you have to aim the mace at yourself and then just kind of try and squirt it into the car. If I ever had to, that's how I was ready to do it. Wasn't like the forward aim and shoot, but I had that all the time. And so I don't know, are you one of the lifers here in the gig economy, or is there a goal to get out?
I always say, I always say, who knows what the future holds. I will say this, because I've said this before, is this isn't my forever. This is my now. I feel like a lot of people, and including myself, use this as stepping stones to whatever, life, comes at you. Right now, it fits with what I have going on in my world and in my family life. So it fits kind of nicely right now. If I need to go back to W2, I have no problems going back to a W2 at some point, because I
if you
have no
loved
problems
it,
doing it.
if you loved it.
if it's time, it's time. You just you never know where life's gonna take you. I had a career before this, and careers continue, and you just never know. You never know where life is gonna bring you. But I'm never afraid to go back to W-2 if I have to.
Yeah, but if you have to, like, I feel like you've been really successful at what you've done, not just the platforms, but building a channel, building a following who isn't non-active following either. That's why when you said subscribers don't count, I fully agree with that, because I think that I see some channels with subscribers of 5,000-6,000 people who don't get the amount of people you get in a live stream. So they've got
Thank you.
twice as many subscribers. The subscribers don't matter. It's who's coming, who's active.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning of the pandemic, I think a lot of people, everybody was at home, so they were just subscribing to every channel putting out anything. And then they were kind of like, I'm going back to work, and now they've left those channels dead.
Yeah, I mean, you see people come and go and come and go, and it's the thing is, I love learning about people, and you get people from other countries, other parts of the country. Like, there's so many things that you can learn from each other that you never knew before, and that's kind of like at least to me, that's the fun of it, and really connecting with people. Like, if you can't tell, I'm a people person to begin with, so to me, I have the gift of gab. I always have the gift of gab. So, it's really just gabbing with people and having fun while you're doing it.
Right.
It keeps my boredom down while I'm driving, while I'm out there working. You guys keep my boredom down.
Yeah, right. I also was watching over, I think it was over Christmas break, and you were doing some video on Panera Bread. And it was weird because you were talking about Panera maybe stealing the tips. And I didn't even say anything, but I was like, I'd been having the same feeling from people I had been talking to. They're like, dude, Panera steals tips. I'd heard this like multiple times. I saw you do it, and I was like, wait a minute, is this real? Because people that I don't know who are just always kind of complaining were saying it. But then when you said it, I was like, wait a minute, is Panera really stealing money?
I wouldn't, when I did that video, it wasn't the first time it has happened to me. It had happened prior. And when I went through that situation, and it ended up being I would say it was like, I can't remember, it was like a $200 or $300 catering order. And it was a problem catering order to begin with, but I really wanted to stick it out because I wanted to see where it was going to go. And when I did the drop off, and the tip was $10, and I'm like, okay, there's a disconnect somewhere. Do I know I still don't know for 100% fact that that's what happens, but I think there's a disconnect happening with some of these third parties, at least to orders that are happening through their websites.
Especially on the catering side, it seems like.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
really large orders, like, there is a disconnect. So I don't know where it's coming from, but it's definitely, there's something off. That's the only thing I'm gonna say, and that's kind of what I was bringing to light, during that video, because and it's not just me. Like, other people have been seeing the same thing. So, like, there's definitely a disconnect. I just don't know what it is or what the solution is to it. So
I mean, it's almost like, hey, on the large orders, is there just a maximum tip of $10 and then you guys keep the rest? What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I never look at tips as, I don't get into like tips that much, but I'm very grateful for the customer. But, I took the order because, it was a decent order. So that's the way I look at it. To me, if there's like a hidden tip or anything like that, it's, thanks to the customer. That's really nice of you. So I took the order going into that. But like, when you start thinking catering orders and big orders, like, there's just some kind of disconnect going on.
So I know that one thing for sure is that you and I share the same passion for, my thing with rideshare always used to be underage riders. I used to just go crazy about it. I used to deal with the police with it. I used to like just get livid. But I know that I've seen you doing a couple things, and I've been talking about this for a while now, is we can't fix any of the problems on the apps. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they're probably just going to get dirtier, in my opinion. They're not going to get better, you guys. They're just going to find ways to, if they manipulate something down, they're going to find a way to offset it with some kind of, toy bonus or whatever, like complete these hurdles and you'll get to level 2 and we'll, I don't know. It's just, it's always like a kind of a joke to me that they do this, but I really believe I've seen you doing stuff on this too. I really think that one thing they could do for us is that tip baiting has to be shut down. It has to be.
It bothers me when the custom it's first of all it's I feel like it's double-edged sword. It's really nice that the customer, especially with obviously it's Uber Eats that does this, but it's really nice when the customer can tip up to an hour after. That's the good part. The bad part is the feature of taking tips away. Like, I just think, I don't know, it's just wrong, I think, on so many different levels. Like, I think even if a driver for whatever reason performs a bad job or they think it's a bad job, a lot of times the customer doesn't realize it's not the driver's fault, but they fault the driver for whatever reason, but they still performed a service for you. So I don't know. I just think tip baiting it's ugly, and I just think it needs to go away. I just don't think it's a nice feature. That it's just not a nice feeling when it happens to you, because you're like, man, really?
Right. Well, and that's the thing. It probably had nothing to do with you. I mean, it comes to the fact of me, like I've worked in the service industry forever, and people don't tip you till the end.
Yeah.
They want to see how you perform as their bartender or server.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to go, oh yeah, I'll take this drink and here's the money and here's your tip. Maybe sometimes if it's a good friend or something, but like usually they're going to, if they're sticking around for a bit and stuff, they're going to see how they're going to tip you based on your performance. So in a perfect world, you would tip at the end anyway, but we all know that most of these people would just shut their apps off and just not do it. So some people learned that in the flow screens to tip because, that just makes it easy. They can be done with it. But then I think too many people have gotten comfortable and clever to the fact that, hey, if I put a big tip in, I get food quick, expedient, and with a smile on their face. And then when they leave, I can just take it away.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
I don't know what kind of people would do that. I would hope
nice
none of
people.
my friends would do that, but I
nice
have
people.
to think that with the amount of people that do it, that I must know some people who do it.
I know. There are I hate to say, there's some really selfish people out there that, really want their food quickly, and I don't blame them for that. But the tip baiting part of it, it's just beyond me when it actually happens.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I think all of us have dealt with it. I mean, like, I think that, you can tip bait on Instacart. You can tip bait on pretty much all of them. Like I've enjoyed, one thing I've enjoyed about doing some Shipt on the side is that you can't tip bait there. I enjoy Curry because there is no tip. You just get good pay. But yeah, I think it's a huge thing. I think it's something that's fixable too. Like because you got to let the people tip up front. So let them tip up front. If they absolutely decide you're not worth that tip, make it hard for them to cancel it.
Yeah,
not in a mean way, not screw you. You don't want to have this tip because then they might not come back to the business. I get that. Part of the business is to keep growing. They don't care about us, the drivers. However, make it something that's like recorded, or that you have to type 100-character comment on into your app.
I will say this. I'm not really I mean, we can blame the customer, but I'm not blaming the customer. I think the problem stems from the apps themselves and allowing them to even have this feature available to them. Like, if that feature wasn't available, we wouldn't be even having this conversation. So to me, it's like, let's stem from the source. And to me, the source is the app that's allowing this to actually happen, and take it away, and we won't be having a conversation right now.
Right, exactly. But I mean, there is a way where if you put a tip, if I say, okay, I'm ordering $30 worth of food, I'm deciding I want to put a $10 tip on this, make it so that I can't pull back that $10 tip without having to jump some hurdles, even as the customer. Because at a restaurant, if somebody were to complain to a manager, they have to get the manager over there. They have to deal with, I mean, there's something to be dealt with. It's not like you can just say, hey, come here, give me that tip back.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work in a face-to-face world.
Yeah, no, there has to be like I feel like there's no accountability. Like there's accountability to us as the drivers. You get a bad review, or you get bad this, deactivation this, deactivation that, but a customer takes away a tip and there's no consequence to them doing it. So how is that even? I don't know. I just don't even think it's right.
Yeah, I think that if there was some kind of device or something put into place, I think that people would, even if they had to just type 100 characters, this driver was late, and then at a certain point it says it illuminates submit, so you've typed enough. But you have to type something, and then they're going to lock it in, and they're going to file it, and then each time you do it, it says this is your 4th time or this is your 5th time doing this.
Yeah,
I think that kind of stuff just starts ringing in people's heads, even if they're bad people doing this. Like, it's like, man, I'm doing this all the time. I'm a really bad person. Like,
yeah.
I would think that maybe that would change a little bit. I don't know. You should be able to add to the tip. But if you're going to tip up front because you've learned that gets you the best service, you should not be able to pull it back.
Yeah.
So
I will say this. I think DoorDash is, one of the hardest, apps out of all of them to, take back a tip. Like, I feel like you have to go through, I don't think that's ever happened to me on DoorDash ever. But I know that I think you have to call them and go through a process with them. So like they at least make it, not that I think DoorDash is like the most fantastic, they all have their faults, but at least I feel like you have to kind of go through a couple of hoops before you even, do the process of taking away a tip from a driver. I just think Uber Eats just makes it way too easy.
Yeah, Uber Eats. We don't often, but my son and I use it here sometimes. So, but I'm curious if anybody out there knows from the customer end if you can just go into DoorDash and delete, because I don't know. I didn't think they would make it too hard. I don't know. I don't know either. I'm now looking. I'm trying to be you, Kim, and look through these comments a little bit because I saw you doing it. I'm trying to get better at this, guys. I am. Let's see. Like neighborhoods to avoid. Okay, I fell behind here. It's hard to do when I'm doing something like this too. I don't know what gig Cleveland is saying with a casino gulag model. I don't know. It's probably something I said. I should probably stay more like on the ball. What's up, Arturo? What's up, William? What's up, gig Cleveland? Yeah, so I don't know. So never rideshare, never anything outside of food, but you haven't even tried curry. You haven't tried Shipped. You haven't tried any, you don't ever step outside of the boundaries of delivery?
I won't say that. I do have Instacart. I just have never done Instacart. I'm just not, it's just not like, to me, it's just not me. Like
it sucks anyway.
I don't like grocery shopping for myself. Never long going grocery shopping for someone else. And that includes, Instacart, Corner Shop, even though Corner Shop isn't available in my market yet. There's a lot of things I feel like that are available in other areas that aren't quite available in my area quite yet. Like I actually tried to get onto Amazon Flex the other day, and it's not available in my area yet. Corner Shop's not available in my area yet. GoPuff, the closest one was like 30 minutes away. So there's I feel like I'm very limited a lot of times. Walmart Spark isn't. I tried to get onto Walmart Spark. That's not available in my area yet. So it's not for the lack of trying to do other things. I do have Rodeo, so I will say that I do have Rodeo. I do that every blue moon. It's not very big in my area either, but I do have Rodeo. There was one app, I'm trying to remember what I had. Skipcart. Is it Skipcart? I think I had at one point, and that completely. What I signed up, I was on it for a week, and then they said, "Nope, sorry, not available in your area anymore." So, which I really find interesting, because you would think New Jersey, close to New York City, it's a very major metro area. Like a lot
That's
of.
what I was gonna say. I thought you lived in a pretty big area.
Yeah, I do. It's for whatever reason, a lot of these apps aren't available in my area. I haven't tried Shipped or anything like that, because I feel like Shipped is close to Instacart and stuff like that. So I really haven't looked into that yet. But
I did an Instacart Shipped challenge, and I'll tell you that Instacart just was horrible for me, and Shipped has been really good to me. But again, that's probably market to market. I've heard people say Shipped sucks, but I've had way more people say, yeah, I hear you. Shipped is way better than Instacart.
Yeah.
And for me, with
Yeah,
Shipped, I can just go park at Target and just take Target runs all day.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
will
pretty
say I
easy for
sign up as
me.
much as I can for what's available. I don't always work it, but I always have them in my arsenal for that just in case. Because I always say, have a backup to your backup. So these are kind of like my backups to my backup, just in case, God forbid something happens with like food delivery at some point or whatever app. And like I'm always thinking ahead of time. So I do have other means. I just don't use them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to me that still after all the stuff we see and all the craziness that happens in the gig economy, it seems like the most people are still on DoorDash. Seems like that is the
Yeah.
platform that everybody loves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
And it's
know,
funny because and it is, and you see not just me, but you see a lot of others use polls to talk about DoorDash and Uber Eats, and DoorDash is a majority of the time a lot of the winners when it comes to people's community posts. So it definitely is, one of still the most dominant, well, in my opinion, one of the most dominant, food delivery apps that's out there.
Yeah, I mean, I just, it seems like, I don't know, it seems like Uber Eats would be competing more. Uber Eats has the world market.
I feel like they could a couple months ago. Like I said, I feel like they've turned somehow. I don't at least in my area, I feel like they're just not. I know a lot they were focusing a lot these past couple months on their rideshare and kind of, going to the wayside a little bit with the food delivery. And I don't know whether that has something to do with it, but something has changed. I'm not even coming close to, the order, like the quality orders that I used to be getting. I see the quantity. I don't see the quality orders that are coming out of Uber anymore.
Right. Right. But I mean, but that it just makes no sense why, unless it's across the board. It would seem weird to me if Uber Eats was just starting to crash like that, but DoorDash is still killing it. It would
They
seem
are.
like that. I know, but it would seem like it would all die off a bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
That's
my guess is that Uber Eats is just being Uber like normal and just deciding you don't need to make the little bit we've been paying you. So we're going to pay
it's a
even
good
less,
possibility.
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I can think of because they all have to be doing about the same
I said it should be
volume.
interesting. Last year during the Super Bowl, DoorDash and Uber Eats, remember like they were competing with like commercials back and they had like their own variation and we were all like, where did these commercials come from? So it should be interesting on Sunday to see if like they do the same thing this coming year.
Yeah, I mean, is Super Bowl business huge?
I had a good Super Bowl Sunday last year when I worked, so knock on wood, it continues and
Yeah, I feel like people have
I
parties, barbecues, things like, it seems like the kind of day where you do it yourself at home almost.
I don't know. A lot of a lot of restaurants in my area where we're putting up signs like these past couple days, get your Super Bowl pre-orders in before Sunday in order to ensure you have your orders. So I don't know whether they're expecting a lot of like pre-orders, but it kind of made me think, okay, from a driver's perspective, are they going to be able to do their pre-orders and regular orders the day of Super Bowl? So I don't know. I guess a lot of wings, lots of pizzas. Who knows?
Right? Yeah. I would think that people would too, but I mean, at the same time, I just know like I'm always invited to Super Bowl parties and there'll always be 10, 15 people I know. And then they're barbecuing or they've gone to the
Yeah.
store and bought, tons of food. And it just seems like, the old, this is how been this way my whole life, that Super Bowl parties stock up. I don't know. It seems like it would get
Yeah.
quite expensive to go, let's just do it all through DoorDash for 15, 16
Sure.
people.
But if it's just you and making this up, then like your two pals, watching the
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I guess if it's just you at your house or whatever, maybe. But
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like those kind of people get lonely and go to the bar or something. And I don't know. I guess you couldn't have gone to the bar lately, so the past few years. So maybe I don't know. Maybe that's part
No.
of it too.
Yeah,
I guess we'll see this time around.
we'll see what Sunday brings. I'm looking forward to working, so we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Um. So yeah.
Yeah, I just got today, there's quests coming up for Uber Eats coming on Sunday, and they're pretty good. So I can't tell you the last time I actually got an Uber Eats quest, and it's probably one of the best quests I've seen in like a really long time.
So for those who just or for those who joined us like midstream here or whatever, can you, because Kim and I are going to wrap this up right around an hour tonight, so we are coming up on that right now, and you guys all know I'm not good at that, so I usually run over, but I ran over today by like 40 minutes too, and it's just been a crazy day of pulling my hair out. So Kim and I talked beforehand that we were both needed to kind of do this, but what are your can you again walk through what you do in the week, like with UDM, your stuff, when it is? Because I don't think you have other social platforms, or do you? Are you other than Instagram?
I have Instagram. I'm not the best at it, but I do have an Instagram. But I'm really good at messaging on Instagram. I always say if anybody needs to reach me and get me through Messenger on Instagram, because it's an easy way of me chatting with people. So I do have Instagram. Um, that's my main social media. I was thinking, God, I don't know. We'll see. I was thinking about starting TikTok. Maybe. I have to see how
Yeah,
creative I can be with TikTok, but I was thinking about starting TikTok
I I
somehow.
have
And
I have a really crazy TikTok channel. So if you guys ever go
okay, I'm
find it,
totally gonna have
you'll
to check
see,
it out.
because it's not me, it's me out of character. They're like 15-second or 1 minute ones.
Oh, that's
And I
awesome.
kind of have a way of ending them all, and they're all a little crazy. They're all a little
Oh, that's
wacky. I do a lot
awesome.
of promotions for other people's channels too, and they don't even know it.
Oh,
So if
that's awesome.
any of you in chat ever wondered, you're on TikTok, go look me up. I might have done something for you that you don't
That's
even
so
know about.
funny. I'll have to go check it out. But so I don't know. I'm thinking. I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to figure out like my creative way of doing TikTok, because I want it to obviously match what I'm doing here and match my brand. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. But Tuesdays I have my live for my channel at 8 o'clock. Everybody join me, and I love doing it. I love being with the community and talking with everybody. So that's my Tuesdays. Wednesdays with UDM and Jaywalk for the Brat of the Day, and that's Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. This is all Eastern, by the way. So that's 3 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour-long show. It's fun. It's funny. It's just a lot of fun. So that's Wednesdays, and then I spend the rest of the week kind of doing gig work and doing food delivery and YouTube and editing videos and rinse and repeat.
And you're consistent and good at it though. You're not one of the people I see complaining, all the time, or or working an extra 20 hours in a week because they're so just like I can't deal with this. And then they work an extra 20 hours and make that kind of same crappy money they were making. It's in
No,
those cases I always say it's just the week. Unless you really
you
want to
just
put those extra hours in and still make that same crap money, just call it a loss and make up for it next week.
to me, you just do what you got to do and you keep on trucking, and
Yeah.
that's to me, consistency and keep doing what I'm doing, like without a schedule and without a plan in place. Like I feel like my life would be chaos, especially with personal life and delivery and YouTube. Like everything has a place, everything has a plan, and as long as I stick to it, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, like said on the radio, I think you're one of the more successful YouTubers out there that sticks. But again, you stick to your plan like I do. It makes it easy for me to say
See.
that because I know. But I'm saying that you must be doing it right, because that's how I do it too, and it works for me. And there are weeks that suck worse than other weeks. That happens. That just happens.
We
Um,
all have good weeks, we all have bad weeks, we all have you know personal lives, and how we intertwine our personal lives with gig work. And it's a mix, and it's a balancing act. And but I'm humble about it, because I just think I'm a normal person just going out there working every day, and just making videos as I'm doing it.
See, Lisa found my TikTok today.
I am really gonna have to check this out now, Steve.
I really like not Jason Thierry, Gig Economy podcast Jason. So him and I do a lot of stuff together. He does that radio show with me, but we've done a lot of stuff for a long time. And I don't know, he's on TikTok too, and he got on there when he first got on. He's like, what is this? What are you doing? Like, oh. Like,
yeah, let me tell you, I had so much fun with you guys. Like, it was a blast hanging out with you. I felt like we were just hanging out for 2 hours and chatting it up, and it was you guys were just a blast to be with.
Yeah, it's a fun show, and for those who listen, you get to hear music in between too. You don't get to hear us backstage, but we'll talk for a bit, and then they'll do news and weather for a second for the truckers, because it's a trucker network. It's tncradio.live on Friday nights from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific, and everything in between. But it's fun. I mean, Kim's been on there. We had Flex on there, and
did you?
Yeah, we had Mr. Flex on the third episode when Jason wasn't going to be there, and he was pulling bong hits the whole time. And these two, the two guys who I do it with too, that are from the station, they're both in their 70s. To those of you listening, they're both in their 70s, and one's been doing radio forever, and he owns the station. The other one was a chopper pilot for traffic, and we call him Chopper Bill. And they're both in their 70s, and Chopper Bill used to fly around like the Ron Burgundy Anchorman days, and just kind of fly around and go, yeah, there's traffic down there, and that kind of funny stuff. But
he had the voice for it. I'm telling you, you could tell he had that radio voice.
He has one of the funniest radio voice, or one of the best radio voices I've ever heard. He's smooth. He's very smooth. But yeah, those guys are great. And if you guys haven't checked it out, again, go there and check out the one we did with Kim. I think it's the second one of the year. It was the second week of the year. And if you go to tncradio.live and then hit the menu podcast, go to Driver Nation, you'll see it. I'll put it up in the show links too. But yeah, I think we're just going to cut this right in an hour. I love this. And yeah, I mean, it's always fun to talk to you, and I'm sure that we'd always love to have you back. We've had Hannibal just said something. He's been on the podcast too, or he's been on the radio too.
Yeah, anytime.
I don't know.
Anytime.
Yeah, I think the radio show's fun because sometimes it gets a little too. Jason always says that he's like, "Is this a gig show or is this a variety show?" That's what he says to me some weeks. He'll be texting me while we're doing it. We'll be doing the radio show, and he'll be like, "This is a variety show. We haven't even talked anything yet." He's like, "We talked about flat earthers. We talked about this. We do talk about some random stuff on that, I got to say, but we are all gig workers, so it's cool." But Kim, yeah, everybody should be hitting up Kim's channel. I think everybody that I'm seeing here anyway, there's more watching than I'm seeing, I'm sure, but I think everybody here is already subscribed to Kim. But if you're listening and you're not, her link is already in the show notes, and then I'll be putting some more into the show notes as well. And I see Kathy asked me what my TikTok is. I'm going to have to leave it up to you guys to find. It's really easy to find. It's Rideshare Rodeo. If you just search that, you'll find it. So, I can't. I mean, you'll see the logo and everything.
Thank you for being a great interviewer. You always do a fantastic job, Steve.
Thank you. I mean, I'm coming over from the podcast world where I'm not used to being on video, and so it's a lot more chill and and I'm reading things, and then we're talking about different points, so it's a different world. But yeah, I mean, this is fun for me. I like this, and I like doing the Thursday live thing, but I also like bringing over some of those pieces because they're good. And I honestly think everybody should go check out the one that I did today. It took everything out of me. It took everything out of these four ladies too, who are awesome. They have all been on my show independently, but we've never had them all at once. And one of them is named Kim Cavan. She's from New Jersey, and she fights for independent contractors harder than anybody in this country. I'll tell you that.
Awesome.
So she actually filed a new way of filing for us independent contractors. You'll have to go watch the piece, but she's an amazing person. But yeah, she's from Jersey too, and she always says things like, well, because I had some AB5 California people that she knows really well, like Freelancers for Freedom and stuff, were on with this, and all these people know each other well, and she's like, yeah, but they're from California, from Jersey. I don't take nothing. And so like I know you Jersey girls and Jersey guys, like kind of, you just got that attitude, and it's cool. I like it.
Well, I'm like, whoa there, Steve. No, just kidding. I always say I might be small, but I am mighty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and she's fought with people in like your in your legislator. She's gone in there and like argued.
That's awesome.
She writes for the Washington Post. She writes for the New York Times. She writes for a bunch of things, and yeah, she's a pretty amazing person. She was part of that too. So I want to thank everybody for coming, and I really want to thank Kim for taking the time out of her day.
Thanks, Steve.
It's always fun to talk, and yeah, I'm sure I'll see you around, and maybe we'll get you back on the radio show because the radio's fun.
I would love it. Let me know when.
So thank you, everybody. And if you didn't have time and you don't have time tonight, whenever, if you want to be an independent contractor and not an employee, go check out this video, because it talks about everything and all the fights being going on around this country. So and we've got a ton of resources in the show notes for it too. So you can find everything you need to find. But that said, it's Thursday night, and I'm going to let us all get to our thing, and I'm actually going to get to bed. It's been a long day for me, and I got to be up super early tomorrow. So thank you, everybody. And we'll have a good night. Peace.
Bye, everybody.